Alright, so today is going to be the start of all my new champ videos now that I have CCP beta access, and these will be titled How Will X Champ Impact MCoC? Because how I want these videos to work is instead of diving deep into all the abilities that every new character has, we're instead going to be focusing a lot more on the matchups that they are good for, the nodes that they're meant to be good for, and talk about maybe how they would do for Alliance War, like their BGs, matchup sheet and stuff like that, and how many different defenders they can take, and just overall where I think they're going to be good in the game, instead of just here's how they work. So we're going to be seeing a bunch of different defenders from the CCP test map, and we're just going to be talking about Dracula's strengths in his kit, while we're doing that, and his weaknesses, of course. So, as far as Dracula overall, honestly, I think it's really sad, because this is the first new champ video I can make on the CCP beta, and I'll be quite frank with you, I don't like him. I actually don't like Dracula much at all. I don't, I'm just not a big fan of him, and we're going to be talking about that over the gameplay a lot, but, in summary, it's he has some cool utility in the slow and the fear, but the way he accesses his damage, I really don't like it. So the way you want to really get Dracula's damage going is by interrupting an attack from the opponent by your light attack. And so the most common way to do that would be by light intercepting. And he has one of those light attacks where it pushes him very far across the screen when you use it. And I find every time a character has one of these light attacks, the AI is more inclined to just walk up, light, punish you more than any other champ. Especially with someone like Kushala, where she has the light attack where it pushes her very far across the screen and you really want to intercept a lot with her, except the AI just walks and hits you. And I feel like that happened to me so often when testing this guy. And on top of that, it's not a easy to access way to get your damage online either. Because you want to be light intercepting a lot, so you want to be trying to counter opponents' heavies and specials with lights, which isn't always possible. And this, you have to do it if you want to get your damage online. Otherwise, you're just not going to be hitting very hard. And as far as the damage goes, it's kind of just alright. I don't think his damage is that good. It's a 4 out of 5 on the website. It's not that bad, but it doesn't feel like a 4 out of 5 to me. So we're going to start against Deathless Thanos here. And for this guy, it's really going to show off how good Dracula's slow is, because his slow is very, very good. That is one thing I do want to give him a lot of credit for. Ignore me eating the final hit of the special 1. We're going to show off the regen from that, obviously. So, yeah, you drop a special 1 and you get a 40-second passive slow, which is honestly insane. Not only is that one of the longest slows in the entire game, but it's passive as well. So you can use it for pretty much any scenario. And then we can just nullify his Energize and his Fury buffs, turn them into some bleeds, get some extra damage from it. And overall, he's very, very good for Deathless Thanos. That is one of his greatest strengths, and one of the things that I can praise a lot about him. Because that slow, obviously, is super strong, and you're nullifying a bunch of buffs, and it's a really, really good matchup if you take Deathless Thanos with Dracula. I think he might be the best Thanos counter in the game, with Nico and stuff. Yeah, I really like him for that. So, next we're actually going to go fight this Knull. This is something that is very interesting, because in his SIG ability, he increases his attack rating per armor break on him, and this scales with the SIG. I'm only playing a SIG 20, so you're going to see we're going to get a nice bit of extra attack rating, but it's not even SIG 200, so it's not as high as it could be. Here's what I don't like about it. The fact that the armor break attack increase that you get doesn't affect your Degen, which is your main source of damage. It only affects everything else he does, because that Degen doesn't get its damage increased by modified attack ever. So that means that your main damage source isn't getting affected by the one way you can increase your attack in your kit. And that includes nodes. You can't even use a node that gives you Fury to increase your Degen damage. and I think that's really dumb. It does make me inclined to think that in the future we're going to get a Cosmic Defender that's kind of Null-esque, which places a lot of armor breaks on you. I think we're going to see a Cosmic Defender that places armor breaks very soon, because I do think they're going to try to make just Dracula's sig ability better because of that. But like right now, you can use him for Knull, you can use him for Terrax, and it's not even that great. Knull has Degen resistance, and Terrax is pretty good, because you're going to regen a lot of damage back with his, regen from when he drops a special. But like overall, I just find it really annoying and frustrating that the Degen doesn't get its attack rating increased because of the armor breaks in this sig ability. So now we're fighting Annihilus, and ignore me doing the one thing you're really not supposed to do against Annihilus, and that's let him drop a special 2 in his corner. Yeah, I took a lot of damage from that. But also, you got to see how strong the Nullify is. There's like so many Nullify hits on your special 1, and then some on the special 2 as well. It's a really strong Nullify. And then now we're going to go fight Yelena. And I'm showing you Yelena because I don't think he's like a great Yelena counter, but also he can do it pretty decently because of the fact that the Degen applies itself at the start of the fight. So she's not able to cap it or anything, because it's not tied to an actual hit. So like it's very awkward trying to get him to work, but that's just kind of Dracula in general. He has one of the most awkward playstyles, and I'm really not a fan of it. Just trying to start all your combos with that light attack and stuff. Because again, they can just punish you for it really easily, or you can just like struggle a lot to actually try to get it going, and it just doesn't work. And I don't know, I'm just not a fan of the playstyle at all. And the fact that the damage is just like pretty good, but nothing crazy when you have a playstyle that rigid, it's not something I'm a big fan of. So yeah, like he does Yelena honestly pretty well, but only because of the fact that she can't cap that Degen. He doesn't really counter her at all. I mean, he can regen chip damage. I guess that's really cool. So you can like parry sometimes in the fight and then regen it during the specials. I'd say that's pretty cool. But like, I tried using the Degen for other matchups where it's like you really want to have ways of getting around damage capping mechanics like Zola and Sentinel because of their high armor rating, and in Zola's case the cowardice, and it's like it just didn't work. Like I used him for Zola and he can't do the heavy counter. I used him for Sentinel, and it's just like the power efficiency the Sentinel's gaining is really frustrating for him. So I don't know, not a huge fan of that. And then yeah, so this is Gentle, and we're just using the slow to counter Gentle here, and it's fine. Obviously using slow just kind of turns Gentle off, which is kind of why I'm showing it here, because the fact that it's like a 40-second slow means you just don't have to worry much about anything Gentle does. But like it's still not a very fast fight. It's fine, like it's gonna be just over 70 seconds, which isn't that terrible, but again, I just don't think the damage is worth it considering how frustrating this playstyle he has is. So yeah, I eat a heavy attack there, but I'm pretty sure I just regen back most of the damage I take, because I do really like the regen. It's honestly pretty solid. But let's see if I actually get back to full. I probably don't, but we have a decent bit of health at the end. And then so like those are the main BG's fights that I thought that he might be good for. Like he can't do Serpent, it's pretty bad. He can't do Dark Phoenix, it's really bad. Maestro, I spent a lot of time trying and it just was not working. So like there's all the Cosmic Defenders right there. He really just as good for Thanos, and then sometimes Knull when Knull comes back on defense. And then for Alliance War, it's like, okay, well, he's got no immunities, which is not good for a war champ. Obviously there's plenty of war champs who don't have immunities who are very good, like Shothra and Maker and stuff, but like it's something you really want for war stuff. The passives, passive slow, passive fear, are really strong, but like I don't really want to send a champ with a playstyle as inconsistent or like really difficult to get active to war, like when I can just send so many other mystics who are just easier to play and get, you know, benefits as good as Dracula does. Like I don't think there's a lot of mystics who can really use the slow like he does, but that's kind of it, and you don't really need the slow for a lot of stuff in war. It'd be like cool for a Footloose node, but then just use some other buff control champ that the Mystic has plenty of. And so I just don't see him being very useful in War either. His damage is very bad for long form content. I don't see him being very good for long form content. So it's just like, I don't know what his place in the game is going to be. Because I just don't know. Like, I don't think his kit has a lot in it, and what it does have, it's just not worth it. Because I don't enjoy his playstyle at all. And some people are going to like his playstyle, but I think overall it's just really, really annoying to get online. So, like, yeah, it's kind of a shame that the first champ I'm going to talk about in the beta is one I'm really not a fan of. Like, he might be my least favorite champ of this year, genuinely. Because, yeah, the walk-up lights just ruin everything, and it's just, even when it does work, it's like I'm just forcing all these intercepts and these light starters that are really inconvenient for me to force. And that's just going to be really trivial if there's any nodes or defenders with mechanics that are going to make it harder for me to use my light attack to get things going. And so, honestly, man, how will Dracula affect MCoC? I don't think he will that much. I think there's too many Mystics who just do things way stronger, especially with them countering like Serpent or Dark Phoenix or Maestro and stuff. It's like, you can't just counter Deathless Thanos and be like a rising star. Like, I think the fact that he is probably the best Deathless Thanos counter is really good, and it means that he's not going to be like completely useless, but I just don't see much for this champ. And I would love to be wrong, and because of the fact that I'm obviously in a CCP server, and that's all I have the ability to use him for, maybe if I get him on my main account when the Titan Crystal changes, I'll be able to find some cool stuff for him to do, but I just don't see it. I don't see it in this champ, and he's not even like a defender or anything for BG's defense. So, yeah, that's kind of my chat about Dracula. He has really cool stuff. I just don't think it makes sense or is worth it, because I think his playstyle is really bad. I just don't enjoy it at all. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Do tell me what you think about Dracula and my my video overall for these new champs, like the whole concept of it, with how they will impact MCoC. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.